righty. Good morning, folks. Chaim Ubracha.
L'chaim.
So, continuing with our mimer. Prayer touches beyond Seder Shtalshelus, beyond the order of creation, and therefore can change something in creation, a reality. Torah can also do the same thing.
Blessings can.
Mm-hmm.
But blessings can't.
Right. Right. Now, Torah can change the reality. So, for the sages in the Talmud, for the most part, they change the reality based on Torah, because Torah is the inner dimension of divine wisdom, and therefore it is the source of the outer dimension of wisdom, divine wisdom. Just like inner will produces an outer will. Inner will is you want to take care of your family's needs. And why do you want to do it? Because it's your family, period. Right? Not for a means to an end, but as an end in itself. That brings you to go to work. It makes you run after the bus, right? So same thing when it comes to wisdom, that there's a wisdom that is the inner dimension that produces an outer wisdom. The outer wisdom is God creating a world, which is a means to an end, right? God isn't a tree hugger. He's not an animal, essentially an animal lover. I don't know if that would be the right way to express it. Yeah, he wouldn't be no, he might be an activist. In other words, slaughter it properly, but don't, don't, don't cause it pain, right? Undue pain. The pain of slaughter, yes, but no, otherwise not. So yeah, he'd be, in that respect. Yeah, but that's not what he really wants. What he really wants is the inner wisdom, the inner wisdom is his Torah, which is one with him. Get that Liba in. The inner wisdom is what he really wants. Torah that we're learning now. Okay. So therefore, now, interesting. So Torah is the inner wisdom of God, but in it, there's also two dimensions. Of the inner wisdom of God, there's an external expression of it and an internal expression of it. The external expression of it is a means to an end. For example, Torah tells us that your tefillin need to be between your eyes. So it brings you to act and do something, right? Do this, don't do that. Now, it's an end in itself in the sense that there's a bond with God through that act, right? But you need to do something or not do something, right? Like, I made a blessing on the coffee already, so you need to make a blessing on your coffee, right? Hi. Um, so those are, and why is it external of the internal divine wisdom? Because it is um, uh, it's like it's a means to bring you to the connection to God, right? Do this, you get a connection to God, right? You express a connection to God. Now, when so that's like studying Talmud or studying Jewish law. Although although the study of it itself is a connection to God, the experience of it is a means to an end. You know, do this so you could, right? When you're studying Chassidus, as we're doing now, Pnimius Torah, so it's the internal aspect of the internal divine wisdom, of which the internal divine wisdom is Torah. So it's the internal aspect of that. The experience of it itself is divine connection unto itself. It reveals the divine connection, right? When you study a Jewish law, it's not revealing the divine connection. It's telling you how to make the divine connection, right? It in and of itself isn't an expression of the connection. Telling you, do this, you make the connection, right? So therefore, Chassidus is going to speak about God, right? Whereas Talmud and Jewish law is going to speak about what does God want, not God, who God is. What does he want? He wants this mitzvah. How does he want that mitzvah? He wants it like this and like that, right? Right? Okay, great. Now, so this is the difference with the Rashbi, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, and his words of Torah, that not only did he draw, right, he drew from the core essence of God to bring it down here into this world, to make a difference in this world. And what was the difference he made? He brought rain. There was a drought. And instead of through prayer, which is the regular manner in how you beseech God, right, to change the reality over here in this world, to bring rain into this world, right?
Mhm.
He did it through the words of Torah, because his words of Torah um, are the inner dimension of the inner divine will, the inner dimension of Torah. The inner dimension of Torah is not divine wisdom. It's God himself. Right? Again, when you study Talmud, for example, what you're going to kind of experience is divine wisdom. When you study, right? Because it's going to be more an intellectual engagement. When you study Chassidus, now you're going to have that divine wisdom experience too. But on top of that, there's a sense of the divine itself, not the wisdom, beyond wisdom, God himself. Divine connection itself, as opposed to divine wisdom understanding. Not instead of, but on top of, right? Is that resonating? Yeah. Okay. With David, it is. What's with Liba? Yeah. Okay. Vida, Andrew, Yannick.
Yes.
Yeah. Mike. Okay. Good. Okay.
Making it very clear.
Okay. Great. So
In a way, Chassidus is deeper. It goes in a deeper direction than the Talmud.
it goes deeper. Yes. In more. I know the word deeper. I don't know if I'd use the word deeper or more inward, which is deeper, but um, I don't know if I would use the word deeper. I would use more inward,
Inward.
meaning, what does it mean inward? Like, well, again, let's give the metaphor of what a person does and who the person is, right? What you do is not who you are. So what you do is external, right? Now, what you think is more internal, is more you. But what you think, is that really you? There's a deeper part in you that's beyond what you think. What you think, that's where you are found in your, in your self-expression. But that self-expression, then there's a part of you that's beyond your self-expression, your very soul, your very being. That's beyond what you think.
Yeah.
Beyond that, right? It is more internal.
It touches the core.
It touches the core. So deeper is, deeper. I don't know if deeper gets enough to that word, or more inward.
Okay.
More a deeper. I could use the word deeper. Yeah, you
I
could.
understand what you mean.
Yeah, it's a deeper expression of you, right? It's a deeper expression of you. So, like, when you had a fleeting moment of pleasure, right? Is that really a profound expression of you? Like, I had an apple this morning, and I enjoyed the apple, and I had the pleasure of that apple, or of the David's coffee, l'chaim. Ah, so we're almost at the last drop, right? So the pleasure I have in that's a very external pleasure, right? It's an external thing that's giving me. Then there is a pleasure that I can have from a melody that I sing to myself. That's a deeper. That's a deeper pleasure. Why? Why is it deeper? Because I don't need a thing on the outside to have it. I have it within me.
See.
Right? I don't need to hear the song. I could sing the song, right? It's of me. It's in me. Now, at the end, though, it's not really me, though. It's a song. But it's deeper. It is more of an expression, deeper expression of me. It's more inward of me,
It's coming out of you.
right? It's more than the coffee. But then there is deep expression of me, my child. Right? The coffee literally is a physical thing that came from the outside. The melody also came from the outside, right? Because it's a melody that I didn't produce it. It's a melody that I heard and now I'm singing it. Right? But it's in me. It's not, now a child? Well, that child is a part of me. Right? So therefore the connection, it's a deeper expression of me. So much so that child looks like me, even acts like me. That's a much deeper, much more profound expression of me. So that's just a metaphor to appreciate and to understand what we're talking about over here, right? When we speak about when we're speaking about in Torah, right? So what is so God as creator in creation? You can see the divine wisdom, but that's like something outside. Now, there's nothing outside of God, but metaphorically speaking, it's not of Him. In which nothing's outside of Him, so it is of Him, right? So break down in the metaphor, right?
Emanation.
No, creation. Emanations is is emanation. Creation has this sense of separateness, right?
Yes.
This is separate. The melody is emanation, right? The child is essential. So I hope that now the point being over here is that the Rashbi, in saying his words of Torah, he had the power of prayer in that it is touching the core essence of God, not the wisdom of God. And the truth is, you study Talmud or Halacha, it also is the essence of God, beyond God's wisdom. But that's not what is being revealed, right? So, when we're studying Chumash and Rashi, or we're studying Rambam, it's not less God's Torah, not less. It just doesn't reveal as much the inwardness of God, because it's telling us what God wants of me rather than who God is. There's only one place where that comes together, those two things. I'm just going to throw it out there. That's called a sicha from the Rebbe.
Okay.
But as opposed to a discourse, a Hasidic discourse, which is what we're learning now in Maimer. Yeah. So, now, okay. We're going to stop here. Just remind me that we're starting chapter 6 tomorrow. Okay? Powerful stuff.
Thank you very much.
Was this brought some more clarity? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. Okay, we'll see you soon, folks. It's a long Chumash and Rashi.